Hello, 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 and thank you for being here. Welcome to another special edition of Raspberry Pi Foundation's Digital Making at Home live stream. I'm Matt, and I'm coming to you live from Ohio.
Hi, and I'm Christina, and I'm in Nebraska.
Christina, it looks like you're ready for Halloween.
I am very much ready for Halloween. I think October 1st, I was like ready to go. Went to a pumpkin patch. I've got like 7 pumpkins outside. You see my decorations. I even organized my books into like black and orange. I needed a change of season of weather. So yes, I'm fully embracing Halloween right
That's great.
now.
I have not gotten any pumpkins yet, but I'm absolutely looking forward to pumpkin time and all the candy time and everything. I love Halloween candy. So,
Oh, what's your favorite kind of candy?
anything peanut butter and chocolate like Reese's or whatever. I love all that stuff.
Gosh, I used to love Reese's. I'm getting back into it. When I was a teacher, I told my students I liked Reese's, and then I got a lot, and I got like really sick. But I'm definitely excited about the candy too.
Well, Christina and I are from the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and whether you're here for the first Digital Making at Home live stream or you're joining us again, we are so delighted to have you here with us. This live stream is all about us coding together. But before we jump into our digital projects, please say hi in the chat. Let us know where in the world you're watching us from and maybe what your favorite candy is, or even just send an emoji like a smile or a wave in the chat. We'd love to see you there. So we're broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch right now, and we'll be able to see all your comments. So if you're watching on raspberrypi.org, you can click on the title of this video to head over to YouTube to join the chat there if you'd like. For those of you who are new, Digital Making at Home is all about getting young people just like you coding and creating with technology. Every week, we live stream digital projects for you to explore. These can be using technologies like Scratch, HTML, Python, JavaScript, and of course, our favorite Raspberry Pi. Today, we'll continue our progress with another brand new Scratch project. Now, there are so many kids from all over the world who are coding with us all the time, and this is a special final edition, a final show of 4, which are timed for those of you who are in North America. Of course, no matter where on the globe you are and what time it is, welcome. It's great to have you here. These special sessions are thanks to our partners at Infosys Foundation USA, who have a mission to expand computer science and maker education to students and teachers all over the country. So for the parents and teachers out there, you can access free computing and maker education resources through their Pathfinders Online Institute. So big shout out to Infosys Foundation USA and a big thank you to them for making this series possible. We've had a ton of fun coding with you. So Christina, can you tell us about the project we're going to code today?
Yep. Yeah. So we are going to be coding an app for family and friends to make their own fruit salad. And we're going to be using Scratch. This is the 4th project, looking after yourself pathway. I'm really excited about it.
That is awesome. And while we're coding, we encourage you to code along with us, and we want to hear how it's going. So you can use the chat box, and I'll be keeping an eye on it while Christina is coding with you. And by the way, I see a bunch of you have said hello already on Periscope and Facebook and Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So big shout outs to Fred and Anna. Prism, it's great to see you back again. Pac-Man, good to have you. Raphael, nice to have you. Advait, really, really cool to have you joining us here for the Digital Making at Home live stream. Let us know how things are going, and it's so great to have you here. So, Christina, should we get started with the coding?
Yes, definitely. I wish I had set up our project to do candy because I'm seeing everyone share their favorite candy.
Oh, yeah.
Advice, say Hershey's,
Reese's, yeah.
Ken, peppermint. Peppermint patties out of the freezer. Oh gosh.
Ken, yes, Ken, absolutely. Those sound great, right out of the freezer.
Definitely, yeah. And so, yes, let's jump. So I have my screen shared. I am on the fruit salad projects at projects.raspberrypi.org. And if you want to code along with us, you can get to this project using the short link rpf.io dm-fruit-salad. And this will take you to our project page to this project. And like I said, we're going to be doing the fruit salad because that's what we've got in the starter projects, but you can upload sprites and I'll show you how if you want to make it a candy project.
Yes, yes.
So all of our projects are organized really similarly. We've got our title, what programming language you'll be using. Also, this icon here is great because you could print the project if that's helpful for you. Then we have our table of contents. So this shows us what we're going to be doing. We've got our introduction, stamp fruit, choose other fruit, add a grow button. I'll explain to you what those mean in a minute. And what I also love about our projects is we always have a preview. So when I said like we're going to create an app to make fruit art, I'll show you what that means right now. So here, this is a project, a preview of our final product. So here we have some fruit sprites, which when we click on, we can get a variety of different ones. We can make them bigger, smaller. We can also rotate. So, and then when we click here on the stage, they'll show up. And as you can imagine, you can really get into this project. This is why it's one of our look after yourselves projects. To be really relaxing just to create a piece of art. So I'm going to show you how to actually code this, how you can use broadcast messages. Actually, we'll go right here. We'll show specifically another great thing about the projects. It'll tell you exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using broadcast messages. We're going to be using the pen extension and how to add code to the stage. And I like this project a lot because it really builds on the last 3 sessions where we got started with Scratch. And we're going to see a lot of the coding that we did in those last 3 sessions really come together. So I'm going to move to our next step of stamp fruit. And we're going to be opening up a starter project here. So I'm going to click on this starter project. And thank you. We've got the tiny URL up so you can jump right in. And actually, I don't need to click it because I have it open. So I'll open it right here. So the starter projects are great. And we use these at the Raspberry Pi Foundation just to give you the materials you need so you can jump right into the coding. And this is really great for beginners, especially beginning like young people. So you can have like that success, that easy win when you're first doing some code. So let's jump right into the coding piece. So if you're not familiar with Scratch, quick overview, Scratch uses blocks. So these blocks, dragging these over and connecting them. And here, let's explore the starter project a little bit. We've got 2 sprites, the ingredient sprite, which is here. We've got a menu, which is this gray area. And then we've got a backdrop. Then up here, we've got our code, costumes, and sounds tab. And we're going to be interacting with definitely the code and the costumes tab. If you want to add some sound to your fruit salad, by all means, I cannot wait to hear what you add. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some code to our backdrop. And as I'm coding, feel free to add in suggestions or ideas or tips and tricks. What I've loved about the live stream sessions is that we've had a lot of teachers and parents share with us ideas for how they bring Scratch into their classroom or introduce it to their students or kids. And that's been really neat to hear. So please share those as we're coding together.
Yes, and welcome Uriel from Mexico. Great to have you here.
Yes, saludos. So I'm going to highlight the stage, and I know that I'm coding with the stage because I see this blue highlight around. I would see it around the menu if I was coding for the menu or for the ingredients. This is different from our past sessions because now we've got multiple things that we're going to be coding. So starting with the stage, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add code. Set me up so that when I click on my stage, fruit is going to end up in this area. Because right now, if I click on it, nothing's going to happen. So first thing we need to do is we're going to grab an events block. We're going to grab when stage is clicked. And then we're going to jump right into the broadcast messages block, which I love. These are my favorite. Yeah. And broadcast messages are really neat because it does exactly that. It broadcasts the message to the entire program. So in this case, what I want to do when I click, I want to broadcast the message of add.
And this can be whatever you want, right?
Right. Yeah. If you can name this whatever you want, I'm going to name it add for practical purposes. I'm someone who gets real creative with naming, as I've said before, and sometimes it ends up being confusing. So stick with the simple so that you know what you've got, what you're coding with. So we've now added as our broadcast message. Now we need something to receive that message. So I'm going to go, now I know, okay, I'm clicking this and I'm just talking through kind of that process. Because what's neat about these projects is you may think, okay, this is something I might want to use, not just for a fruit salad, but to add to a game, to add to an animation that I want to make in Scratch. So in my mind, I click this, I want fruit to be the gets added. So that's where I'm going to add my the next amount of code. I'm going to go to ingredients. You see there's no code here yet. And my code didn't disappear. It's just with the stage, right? That's highlighted. So I'm going to go to ingredients. And I know I'm here because I'm going to move this up a little bit. Oh, so next I'm going to add the receive block. So when I receive add, I'm going to want my fruit to show up. So first thing I wanted to do is I'm going to have it go to the mouse pointer. Here we go. So this fourth block here, I'm going to change this to mouse pointer. Something I like to do with blocks, I just bring them all in first before I connect them. The next block I'm going to need is the stamp block. And funny enough, we actually used this block yesterday in our live stream with our friend Isaac. It actually comes from the pen extension. So we're going to be adding an extension to Scratch. And if you've never done this before, welcome to a whole new world. Like there's Scratch, but then you have extensions, which is such a neat part of it. So you see there's a bunch of extensions here. Also, if you have a Raspberry Pi and you haven't checked out Scratch on the Raspberry Pi, there are extensions there specifically for like the Sense Hat. So we're going to click on the pen. And what an extension does is it adds some more blocks that we can use for our project. So we are going to pull over the stamp block. Let's connect these here. And actually, I don't even have to click run. I can just click here. Nice. Okay. All right. Let's see how, so we got it to move. Let's see if it, aha. Okay. So it is stamping. Oh, that's it's already starting to make a cool pattern.
Nice.
Now, the thing though is I want to keep my fruit there kind of sort of as that menu that I started with, or that we saw in our, the final project. So what I need to do is I need to add in one more block where I'm going to tell my sprite to go back to this location up here. So I'm going to move it back here just to figure out where that is. And that's helpful to me here because down here in the sprite area, I now see the coordinates for that location. That's the location I want the sprite to end in. So I'm going to change this to -190, not 1906. And these are XY coordinates. So if you're, you might see this and be like, oh yeah, like a coordinate plane. Maybe you're doing this right now in especially middle school math is something you might be doing. This is, I'm using the coordinate plane. Well, yeah, if you've ever like wondered, when am I going to use this? I'm using it right now. Here we go. So what should happen now is I click here. Okay, great. And it returns. Yeah. It's moving so fast, we don't even see it, but it's actually coming over to the plate, stamping and going back. So we've got this. All right, excellent. Now, something I always like to add, especially with this type of project, when you're using the stamp block, is I just want to set up so that the green flag will just clear everything when I click it. So to do that.
Hey, Eddie's Tech. Thanks for watching again. Good to see you.
Hi, welcome back. So good to see you. And then I'm going to add the pen block of erase all. So now I can click the green flag. We've got a clean
reset. Yes,
yeah, exactly. Reset, clean slate to continue with our art. Okay, so we've set it up where now our fruit comes over, but what's we're kind of stuck in that the fruit is facing one direction and it's one size. So what we can do now is we can add in some more blocks to change the sizes and the shapes of it as well. We're also stuck with just the watermelon. So I'll show you how to change that as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's not a fruit salad if it's just a bowl of watermelon.
Yeah, it's just watermelon. It's just a plate of watermelon. So what we do is we saw this. So if we go here to costumes, we'll see that this ingredients sprite, it's actually named ingredients because there's a lot of stuff in there versus not just naming it watermelon. Because you'll see here we have the apple sprite, a grape sprite, peach, and bananas. And I think this is a really neat trick because a lot of times you think you can only use the costumes to show a modification of the same sprite, but I think this is a really neat way to change up a sprite really quickly. Because what I can do now is I just blocks of code. So I'm going to go back here, and
George
I'm going to add
YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, George.
Good to see you again.
I'm going to choose when this sprite is clicked, I'm going to grab the looks block and we're going to have it be next costume. So now I can choose the different fruit.
That was easy.
Yeah, like it, and so that, I mean, you could do this a whole nother way with a lot more code and a lot more sprites. But I love this trick of just like have the different sprites that you want in the costumes of one singular sprite. It's pretty neat. Okay, so we've got our fruit changing. Now we're going to add in those menu icons we saw earlier for something to get bigger, smaller, and to rotate. So we'll start with the get larger grow button. So we're going to go ahead and go into the sprite library. So Scratch, like we gave you this like starter project, but Scratch has so many amazing backdrops and sprites that you can pull from. And I know for a fact that they have some button sprites. I'm going to go ahead and grab those. So I'm going to grab this one. It should just show up on my screen. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to drag it over here because if you remember from that final product we saw, this is kind of where this is where we're going to put our menu with a plus button, a minus, and a rotate button. I'm going to make this a little smaller, and to do that, I can go into the sprite area here, and we see size, and I'm going to change that to 70.
Perfect.
Nice. Now, if you're coding with us, let us know if you've added anything to your salad, if you've added additional sprites, or if you've changed it up day. And I actually changed it to like a taco salad. So I had this, I had avocado, I had nachos. It was great. It made me hungry. I can't wait to have dinner after this, to be honest. So let's go to costumes. And so what I'm going to add to this button, I'm going to add a plus sign to indicate that when you click it, it's going to make it bigger. So I could do that here by going into this menu here. I'm going to click on the line. And shout out to Isaac, who showed me this yesterday. If you press shift when you're drawing the line, it'll keep it straight for you, which is a big deal because I've spent some time trying to like perfect the paint using the paint app here. All right, one more to make the plus sign. Great, now we have it right here. Now, I'm clicking on it, nothing's gonna happen, right? Because we don't have any code in here yet. Yeah. So if you may have already guessed, but we're gonna use a broadcast message, which I love. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to events and we're going to choose the block when this sprite is clicked. And I'm going to choose a broadcast block and I'm going to put in a new message of grow.
It's a sensible message.
Thank you. Not approved. So remember, now we need something to receive that message. So we're going to go back to the ingredients. And that's what I want. That's the sprite I want to receive that message.
Right.
So we're going to go to when I receive, and I need to remember to change it to grow.
Right.
I want this to get bigger. So I'm going to look for a block. Probably will be in looks. That's going to change the size. Here we go. It's down here towards the bottom. Change size. And I'm going to make this 5. Let's see how that works.
So it's going to listen for that broadcast and then, take the action. Cool.
Exactly. So I'm clicking this button. It's sending out the broadcast and the ingredients is now receiving it and it's changing size. So I love this project because it really shows you how you can make just a project on Scratch really interactive.
Right.
Definitely. Okay. Now we have a really big grape. Let's add another button.
Shrink button, right?
To shrink it. Exactly. So what's neat here, and I think in this session, I'm definitely showing you a lot more tips and tricks because what you could do is we could go and pull in all that code again. But what I could do is I actually can duplicate this. Right. So when you're in Scratch, if you are making an app like this, that you have multiple buttons that might be doing some similar actions, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. So this has duplicated the button and it's duplicated the code. Right. So that's a big time saver.
And it put the button in the salad, which we don't want to.
Yeah, we need to move that. Thank you for noticing that. So we're going to move that here. Now, when I clicked it, this button is still making the grape bigger. So I need to change that. I need to change a couple of things. I need to change what it looks like, what the broadcast message is, and the broadcast message that's being received, that code. So let's first go to button 2. We're going to go to the costumes. And I'm going to change this costume. And what I can do is I can use this here, the select tool. I'm going to select that.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant.
And delete. All right. We've got our minus sign, which shows us shrink. Now let's go back to our code. Remember, the broadcast message was grow, so we need to add a new one. New message. Shrink. Now let's go back to our ingredients. You see, we're starting to add in some more code there,
right.
but I hope, especially for, but I hope for those of you that are new to Scratch, you're seeing this and you're recognizing what it's doing, right? I know for me, like my first time looking at Scratch, if I was to see something like this, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. I'd be like, what are all those colors? But now we're learning this language.
You build up and build up to that. Yeah.
Exactly. So similarly to how I duplicated this sprite down here, I can also duplicate code. So I can just click here and duplicate that block of code. And I'm going to change this to shrink and change this to -5. Perfect. So now let's try out here. We've got plus and this should, nice.
There we go.
Great. That's great. We got a banana chip. We got back to our watermelon. It's a good one. And now let's see, it should go, perfect. We can have big ones.
And yeah, nice.
You're right. Now you can really start thinking creatively about like, what does this art look like? How can I have fun with these shapes and really create something cool? Okay. Now, like I mentioned, for some of the fruit, it like doesn't really matter. But in this case, like I want to change what this watermelon looks like, and I can change the rotation of it. So we add another button to do that. So I'm going to go down here, bottom right, and click Choose Sprite. This is also where, with any of our projects, especially like a starter project, you can really personalize it. You can upload your own sprite here. So you could find an image. I've definitely had some fun where I've had my colleague and Kevin and I flying through space only using Scratch. Or you can paint one. You can actually draw like a whole new sprite. We did that in our first week where we created a stress ball using paint. In this case, we're going to choose a sprite and we're going to choose another button. All right, button 3. Okay, it's going to show up somewhere. Ah, there it is. So I'm going to move it over. And I'm going to add some code. So we're going to go to Control. And I always do that. I always mix up those, the yellow and the orange. I always mix them up. So I'm going to, when this sprite is clicked, we are going to broadcast. This time we need to add another message. We're going to broadcast rotate. Now, while I'm doing this one, give us some ideas in the chat of another button that we could add. And maybe it's a button that, you know, is practical, like reset,
right?
or maybe it's a button that does something really random, and we'll choose one of them and we can add it in. Okay.
Hey, Gobal, welcome back on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. And then let's go ahead. I'm going to add in, I already forgot what I'm doing. Oh, I need to go to ingredients because now I've got my broadcast message. Something needs to receive it. And we're going to add in when I receive, rotate. In this case, we need a block that's going to do motion. The other ones were about looks, which is why they were purple blocks. And you'll see our blocks here are organized by colors, which is really like kid-friendly, and also by theme. So in this case, I need a motion block because I want this block or the sprite to move. So I'm going to do turn. Let's see. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
This just works right out of the box. That's great.
Yeah. What I'm also just, you know, for the user experience, I want a good UX happening on my app. I'm going to change up my costume here because I see I have a plus sign, I have a minus sign. So I'm going to add something that indicates like the rotation. So let's go. I'm going to make sure that my button 3 is highlighted. Costumes. That's something you can do here. You can see like this is button 3. I can change this to rotate. Just for if that's helpful, especially if you're going to have a lot of icons, a lot of buttons, if you're creating an app. in Scratch. So I made that rotate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use paint here. I'm going to use this brush. We'll use white. Now, someone did this for the Scratch project, or for the project, like on our website, and they made it like perfect. And I don't know how they did it, but I'm going to try.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, to make the rotate icon. I think it's okay.
Ooh,
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
that's pretty good. That looks good.
Hey, I'm reading that signal loud and clear. So,
Yes. All right. Okay, this is looking good. Okay, now. Yes.
perfect.
All right. Nice. And then we can just stamp it on. Well, that's looking great. Oh, you could, I think, like, especially just with the watermelon, you could really make like a pretty
you
like
could do
art
it.
pattern
Yeah,
there.
rotate. I got to share some love here. Go Ball says, and Christina, you're an awesome person. Thank you.
Thank you.
That
Thank
makes
you
my
so
day.
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Appreciate that. Oh, it's always, yeah, it's always nice to have these live streams with you all. We really,
Yeah, it's been
really
great.
appreciate it and enjoy just like hanging out and sharing about coding.
Right.
So yeah, so that is our fruit salad project. So we just used broadcast messages, used our, like the different blocks we blocked with the stage. We added multiple sprites. We created sprites. And we made an app, which is really neat. This is something now you can send to friends and family, compare what folks make. Now, here you saw, this is the starter project. I'm logged in as Faustberry Pi. So what I want to do is I'd want to click remix to make sure my project is saved. That's really important. Now, you don't need to have a login, but if you want to save your project and share it with friends and family, you need to save it. So that is our project for today.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Really great. I had a lot of fun. I tried that project yesterday for the first time and had so much fun with it. I was trying to speed run it and I built it as fast as I possibly could. But that's a great one. That was the first time I'd ever used the pen extensions stamp block. And it got me thinking of all the cool things you could do with that. So
definitely. Yeah, I hadn't even realized with the pen extension, like I thought pen extension, I thought it was only for writing. Honestly,
right.
like it was only to like draw
Yeah.
something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we have a really neat project, like a geometric project that creates a really cool design. We did it, I think during our art week with digital making at home. And I didn't even, stamp. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is for, but it's so neat to see because I think it has so many different applications in how you can create a really neat project. I'm thinking a lot about how I can use it too.
Yeah. And thanks to all of you for joining us. It was great to see you again, City, and great to see you, Pac-Man, Ken, Uriel, Goldball again. Good to see you, George, Anna and Kevin, of course, Knox. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Oh, it was so much fun. So thank you for all your great contributions in the chat as well. So that's all the time we have for this week. And that's a wrap for this special series of North America Digital Making at Home live streams. But no worries, our UK live stream continues and we welcome you to join that. Again, I want to thank Infosys Foundation USA for making these special shows happen over the past 4 weeks. For the parents and teachers out there, you can explore Infosys Foundation USA's computer science and maker education resources through the Pathfinders Online Institute. And you can catch our whole series of live streams on the Pathfinders Online Institute as well. If you want to keep up with digital making at home, Raspberry Pi Foundation's live stream for young digital makers, you can visit rpf.io/home. Cool. So thank you again for being here for Digital Making at Home, and I hope you'll stay in touch.